All right, guys, welcome to Lion Strong, the place where you get to become who you were designed to be. My name is Lionel Lamarck. I am the host of this show. Thank you for being here today, guys. I'm excited about actually having you guys listening to today's session. I'm kind of going to go on a rant here, I think. I'm hoping not, but that might happen. So I'm just prepping you before so that you actually understand and ready for it. But today's topic really is something that I've been witnessing a lot more instances of it not being right with people as of late. And I think that's really, really an important thing to talk about because I think that right there can be the key to success or failure in any endeavor that you take on, whether it's fitness, whether it's life, whether it's finances, whether it's relationships, whatever. And it's such a simple and important thing, but yet so few people pay attention to it that I really want to highlight this and help and hope that with this and the information I'm about to put out, that maybe somebody can hear this and make a shift and really truly end up getting the results that they want. And what I want to talk about today is your mindset and how important that is in the role that it plays in the results that you get and everything that you do. So my topic, obviously, and my expertise here is in the fitness world, right? In helping you be able to move in a way that you weren't in, thought possible before, really getting you to become the absolute badass that you were designed to be, getting you to be out of pain, getting you to be able to consistently do things that other people don't think is possible for someone, especially when we're talking about our generation, right? Gen Xers, baby boomers, and the likes. So really truly become capable of doing some pretty awesome things, getting to look good, feel good, move well, all that stuff, and live an incredibly fulfilling, long lasting, and powerful life. That's the goal here. And all of that, right? Learning to eat different, be different, move different, feel different, be, all that. That's all great and important. But one thing that I realize is for a lot of people, that task seems impossible. And it's, even though it's not, it's actually completely doable for every single person that's alive. But that task seems impossible for some people, and they make it impossible for them because of their mindset. Such a simple thing, such a powerful thing, though, when you understand that and accept it. Look, here's the reality. All of us have a story, right? All of us have some things that we've been through. And if we sit down and take the time to actually listen to every single one and you hear their stories, you will hear some that are horrendous and you will hear some others that don't seem as bad, but that are. And then you see hear some that aren't that terrible or whatever, but everyone has had something that they've been through. We could sit there and compare apples to apples or apples to oranges, so to speak, and see whose story was the worst and who went through more shit than the other person or whatever. But at the end of the day, that doesn't solve anything. The bottom line is, as a human being, if you've been alive longer than a day, you're going to go through some shit. If you haven't yet, trust me, it's coming. That's just part of life. That's part of being alive. So, what most of us do, though, the things that we've been through, right, no matter how terrible they are or how not so terrible for some, that they are, we think that it's the end of the world for us and that we're the only ones that have experienced that kind of stuff. And our lives are shit and it's just bad because we've had some bad things happen to us. The fuck? That's not true. Look, we've all had shitty experiences. We've all had things that were done, either done to us involuntarily, right? Or involuntarily, or done, whether it was voluntary or involuntary, that are pretty damn terrible. There's some things that we've done that are all of us as human beings that we're not proud of. There's some things that we've done that we've probably maybe feel really ashamed that we wouldn't want to speak out in public about, or would be afraid if people found out and whatever. And it's like, the fuck for? I guarantee you, no matter how fucked up your thing is or what you think you've done that's really bad and terrible, somebody else has done worse or had worse done to them. So, really, being ashamed of your story is not something that you should be, because your story is part of what makes you who you are today. The things that you've been through, what you've experienced, what you've accepted, so to speak, is what makes you who you are today. So, the cool thing about that is that whatever that story is, no matter how crappy it might have been for you, you don't have to accept the results of that story as the end all be all. You can actually choose to be completely different and better than that story. Or you can choose to remain in it and let that story basically dictate what the rest of your life is like. And so it's really interesting because I come across a lot of people that are wanting to do some things. For example, in the fitness space, a lot of people come here because they want to get better, right? They're dealing with pain, they're dealing with discomfort. Maybe they're kind of ashamed because they've let their bodies go down to shit basically over the last 20, 30 years. Maybe they've been taking care of their families all along, or they've been at home, or they've been at work, so to speak, providing for their families, just being the breadwinner, the father, the whatever, the husband, the good provider. And then they look in the mirror and they're like, fuck, I'm 100 pounds overweight, I'm 50 pounds overweight, I'm a tub of shit, I can't do anything, I can't even barely play with my kids. kids, and man, that sucks, and I want to do something about that. And they got to start. They kind of start in that journey, right? But they have that story playing in the back of their minds that, man, I was never really athletic growing up. I was a fat kid, and people made fun of me. And every time I tried to do something, I really couldn't do it well. So therefore, I'm not good at blank. Yeah, I heard that shit before, right? Maybe you guys have talked to yourselves about that before. Maybe you've had that conversation, internally, or you said that out loud about the fact that you weren't athletic growing up, that we weren't born with the ability to do things. So therefore, you never got picked in sports or you never played sports because you were kind of lanky or whatever the fuck story you want to tell yourself, right? We've all had that, or we've all done that at some point, and some of us have bought into that shit so much that here it is 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years later, we still believe that bullshit about what it was like when we were growing up because we don't think we're capable of. And we bought into that and literally have lived our lives incapable of doing any kind of feats physically because we told ourselves we weren't capable or weren't born with that ability. Let me stop you right there before you continue with that bullshit that you've been telling yourself and help you understand something. Do you realize what it took to get you to be here? Because some of you use that shit in the same competitive thing as well, right? When you talk about, well, yeah, I didn't play this, or I wasn't there because I'm not competitive. I'm not whatever. What the fuck? Do you understand? Out of the millions and billions of fucking sperm your father had, right? You were the one who fucking made it. And you want to tell me you're not competitive? Seriously? If you're a human being, you are the most competitive motherfucker that there is. Understand that. Now, that doesn't mean competing. And people, I think, have that mindset about that word that's maybe can be negative because they think competing means you got to go against somebody and you got to beat someone else. You got to do something to someone in order to compete. It doesn't have a fucking thing to do with anyone else. It has to do with you. How much better do you want to be than you were yesterday? That's all competition is. Competition is simply you having the desire to be a better version of you all the time. Nothing wrong with that. That is absolutely healthy to have that. That is absolutely great to have the desire to be better and do better. I mean, think about this. Think about how much more you can contribute to not just your world, but the world in general, right? Simply by focusing on becoming a better version of who you are today. Can you imagine being 100 times better than you are now in 5 years? How much better that would be for you personally? How much better would that be for your family and the people that you love around you? How much better would that be for the world in terms of contributions and things that you can make, right? Those are the things that we should be striving for. But instead, we focus on the fact that, well, I wasn't blank, so therefore I can't. The fuck? That's stupid. That's really, I mean, sorry, I don't mean to call anybody stupid, and that's not really what I'm doing here. So please don't take it as that. But that thinking is stupid. That thinking makes no sense because you are literally keeping yourself down because you simply don't believe you deserve it or you don't think you do, or maybe you were led to believe that you don't deserve it because you've heard it all your life. Well, I'm here to tell you the opposite. You absolutely deserve greatness. You absolutely deserve the best things in the fucking world. You were born to have the best things in the freaking world. You understand something? You, out of the million of freaking sperm that came out of your father's testicles, right? To go impregnate that egg, so to speak, to make you. You were the one that made it. You absolutely fucking deserve the world. Don't let anyone or anything make you believe that you're not deserving of the absolute fucking best in everything. That's who you are. You were born with the abilities to do incredible things. Just because you never got an opportunity to find out doesn't mean that you're not capable, doesn't mean that you don't have the absolute right to become that badass version of you. We all have it. We all can exercise it at any time if we simply choose to. The problem that I see though is a lot of us just buy into that bullshit story and we accept it and we don't choose to do anything about it. And I think for a lot of us, we don't realize we actually have a choice in that matter. We think we're just supposed to accept it the way that it is. And it's only when we're faced with a situation that forces us to realize that we actually can choose different than we do. Well, if you haven't had that situation before, I'm here to be that one for you. I'm here to tell you that you do have a choice. You can become anything you choose. You can be the badass that you've always wanted to be. Now, it ain't gonna be fucking easy. It ain't gonna be just like, okay, I snap my finger and then tomorrow I'm that, right? You're gonna have to put in some work into it, but that's not a bad thing. That's actually a really, really good thing. I think sometimes we find ourselves wanting to try something different or do something different. And what's happened is the story we've told ourselves about not being able to, or not capable, or not deserving, or whatever the fuck it is that you chose to do, or that story that you use, right? Every time we go try something new, whether it be something physical, whether it be a new job, maybe a new career, or trying to do something that's different than our norm, and we try the first time, and what usually happens the first time you try, didn't work out. You fail. It was miserable. It was a horrible experience. And we think, oh, well, yeah, see, there it goes. It didn't work because I'm not that guy. I'm not that girl, right? I'm the clumsy one. I'm the stupid one. I'm the whatever the fuck you tell yourself, right? And we believe that shit because on the first try for something, it didn't work out the way that we wanted. Are you fucking kidding me? That's crazy. Think about that shit for a second. I mean, let's go back. Like, let me take this back, and I'm gonna get to the ridiculous, and maybe that'll help make sense for you. But can you imagine as a baby, right? And all of you, I'm sure, have had kids. And if you haven't, well, have been around kids, right? And seen and everything else. Can you imagine as a baby trying the first time to get up maybe a rollover and it didn't work? And you're like, oh, fuck this. I give up. Sounds stupid, right? Because one thing about babies is that there's no such thing as quit. They don't know how to give up. They keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and keep fucking trying until they get what they want, right? I mean, that's the reason why they go from not knowing what to do to being able to roll over, from rolling over to getting on all fours, from all fours to crawling like a motherfucker, right? Being able to go anywhere and do shit that you're like, what the fuck? How'd they get that fast? And then from that to standing up, and next thing they're running, they're doing all kinds of shit. They're jumping. They're like, ah, you turn around and they're sitting literally on top of the stove trying to jump up from there, like, Daddy, look at me, right? They can't even talk yet. And they're just doing that kind of shit. That's crazy, isn't it? But then when they get to the talking stage and they start figuring out stuff, how are they like when they want something? Do they ask for something and you tell them no? They just kind of give up, tuck tail, and run away because you said no the first time? Right. It would have been nice, right, if that was the case. I mean, we all know they don't fucking stop. They keep coming back and asking over and over and over. And they'll come up with different ways of asking. They'll freaking cry. They'll throw tantrums. They'll do all kinds of dumb shit until they get what they want. The crazy thing is, some of us actually fall in for that, right? We get the kid to do whatever and they go crazy, crazy, crazy. You get like, okay, enough. I'm tired of hearing it. And then you give them what they want. The difference between them and us is that they learn that there's no fucking limit. Keep going, keep pushing until you get the shit that you want to get. And for some reason, over the years, we've accepted that as soon as we hear no, as soon as we don't get it our way the first time, as soon as it didn't happen the way that we thought it should have right away, then we must give up because it's not meant for us. It's not going to work for us. What the fuck? Who made you believe that bullshit? When did you decide to accept that as the actual truth? Because it's not. The cool thing is, right now, this moment, while you're listening to this, you could decide that that's no longer you, that you're no longer going to accept mediocrity for results. You're no longer going to accept, okay, well, I can't do it as the norm, right? You are now going to be like a freaking toddler, relentless in the pursuit of what you want. I want this. I want to become this. I want to be able to do these things. I'm going to keep freaking working at it until I get there. You want to know what's so beautiful about actually developing that mindset? Is the moment that you do, all the people, all the things, all the whatever that you need to support you in that cause will start showing up and start being present to actually help you get there and help you become that. Isn't that the coolest thing? When we stop accepting the fact that the bullshit story we've been telling ourselves for years and years and years is it, and we start believing that we are capable of anything that we put our minds to, incredible things start happening around us. The universe, God, starts providing all the people and all the things and all the resources that you need to actually make that come true. Holy shit, isn't that something? That's the coolest freaking thing ever. And so for me, being in this position here where I get to deal with people all the time that are coming in with different things, whether it be something that they were born with or whether it be something that happened to them, they got in some kind of accident, they were told that they're never going to be able to do shit again. Like I was when I had my car accident, when I got hit by the car, being told by the doctor that I'm never going to be able to do anything athletic ever again. I'll be able to walk, but that's about it, right? How kind of dumb shit is that for somebody to fucking come and tell someone that you will never have the ability to physically move well again? That pissed me off, and it was probably one of the best things that happened to me, because had he not told me that, I don't know if I would have worked as hard to prove him wrong like I did. And because of that, I'm capable of doing shit physically that if that doctor saw me now, he'd be like, fuck, I fucked that one up, didn't I? So yeah, I'm glad for that. But think about this, guys. You all have the ability to do some incredible things, become some incredible things. Again, you can apply that to any arena that you want, right? But I'm applying it here to the whole physical thing, being able to move, being able to be a better person, that you are the only one that's stopping you from becoming who you want to be. No one else is. I'm going to say it again because I don't think you heard me. You are the only one that's stopping you from becoming everything that you want to be. No one else is. You think other people are putting you down. You think other people are stopping you from doing this. But the reality it is your mindset is what's stopping you from actually getting there. The way you see yourself, the way you think of yourself, and more importantly, the way you talk about yourself is what's creating exactly what you have. That's what's stopping you from getting all of the things that you want to have. It is so important for you guys to shift the way you speak about you to you. When you start doing that, you shift the way you speak about you to others. And when you start doing that, the way others receive you and treat you and give back to you changes. But what also happens, the way you see you and the way you treat you and the way you go about doing things for you also changes, which now starts giving you the results that you've always wanted because you are speaking it into existence. I heard this a long time ago, and it took a while for it to actually register and make sense to me. And once it did, it was like, holy shit, wow, that's so freaking true. The words that we use don't just describe the reality that we live in, the words that we use create that reality. Wrap your mind around that one for a little bit and think about that. Everything that you're experiencing in your life, good, bad, or indifferent, the words that you use to talk about it or describe it are actually what's creating it. That's a mind fucking then some. But when you get to really truly understand that and accept that, I promise you, it's liberating as fuck for you. Because that means everything that's in your life that's not going the way that you want, you have the power to do something to fix it and change it. You do. That's cool as fuck. You get that? You start talking about it differently. You start feeling about it differently. And all of a sudden, the universe starts giving you everything you freaking need to make it different. Holy shit. I love that. I absolutely love that. And guys, y'all listening out there, the mindset that you have, the way you see you, the way you talk about you, the way you feel about you, do something about that. Start being just a little different about it. I'd love to tell you make drastic changes, go from one extreme to the other, but for some of you that may be a little more difficult than it needs to be. And it really doesn't have to be, but you're choosing to make it difficult because you want to cling on to that old story of yours so fucking much that even though you want something different, you're afraid to let go of that because you don't know what you're going to have, right? That's another crazy one for me, right? That the mindset is so freaking powerful. We get so tied up into that identity that we used to have, that thing that we use all these years to describe why we were unable to do certain things or unable to be a certain thing or unable to have certain things. We've clung on to that for so long that now letting go of that is scary because at least even though that shit sucked, whatever it is that we're talking about, right? Even though it's an absolute horrible thing for us, at least we know it. We're familiar with it. We're comfortable with it because that's ours. Like we own it. Like, well, that was me. I'm going to hold on to that. If we let go of that to become what we want to be, that's going into the unknown. Like what happens if I don't have this as a crutch anymore? That means I have to take responsibility for everything that's happened to me. That means I have to actually own the fact that I messed up and did all these things. That's a scary fucking thought. I can tell you because I've been through that and I still go through that because there's so many facts of parts of our lives, right? That we have that story about that we've never let go of, that we're still clinging on to for one reason or another. And you may not even know what comfort you find in it, but I promise you there's some comfort in there for you. That could be warped as fucked, but it's still comfort because it's preventing you from letting it go so you can actually be who you want to be, who you can actually become everything that you've desired. So you can actually go and take the actions that you wanted to take to get the things that you wanted to have. Those of you that are clinging on to the whole I'm not athletic bullshit, that's a bunch of bullshit. You're a fucking human being. You were born athletic. You understand that? Just because you never developed those abilities doesn't mean that it's not possible now. Look, I have people here, man, that have come in. And again, I'm going to name a couple of examples. My favorite ones, right, is I think of Arthur. Arthur's 79 years old. When Arthur walked in here at 77, 78, Arthur was literally the most uncoordinated fucking dude I've ever met in my life. And he would be the first one to tell you that because that's the story he clung on to for fucking years. For 77 or 78 years, actually, he clung on to that story. I can't do anything because I'm uncoordinated. I can't move. I can't this. I can't that. And you know what? When he started, he absolutely was because he kept saying that story, he kept believing that. And I kept saying to him that, no, you're not. You just never actually learned how to do anything. He decided after about a month to let go of that fucking story. Stop saying that he's uncoordinated. Stop accepting that he can't do shit. And then just focus on doing the damn work. Fast forward and see Arthur later. Holy fuck. What that man is capable of is mind boggling. Not just to us, but to him. He's like, holy shit, I can do things. I can do this. And I feel good. He's got a whole different walk, a whole different look, a whole different feel about him because of the fact that he let go of that dumb story and he starts accepting who he really is, an absolute badass. And he's living up to that. But he's not the only one. I got hundreds of other stories like this that I can share with you about people that have come in here for one reason or another, have believed that BS about the fact that they're not capable, they're not athletic, they're not competitive, they're not whatever the fuck else you want to use as a word or an adjective, right? To describe that. And then from just letting go of that thought and that idea and just start accepting that they're capable of more than they thought. And they start materializing that to start to see the change in the way that they look and the way that they feel and the way that they actually act is pretty freaking awesome, man. I mean, look, yeah, I'm a father and grandfather, and so it's kind of cool. But you know what's so interesting? Watching them develop and grow. It's like watching my kids develop and grow, right? Watching them being capable of doing things that you can do. You get proud as fuck of all of that. Even though I'm not the one doing it because they're doing the work, just because I was there to be able to influence and just kind of give them support, maybe a kick in the butt if they needed it or whatever, right? To just kept them going on that part. It feels really good, man, to see people coming out of their shells being capable in things that they never thought they would be, whether it's physically able to doing things that they never thought they would be, or mentally able to things in ways that they never thought they would be, or better yet, emotionally becoming absolutely fucking ass motherfuckers is really, really, really an encouraging thing. And I love that. I love the fact that people can change if they're willing to. What I'm saying to you there is there's no as I'm too old or I'm too whatever the fuck it is that you're telling yourself to be able to do anything. There's no such thing as I'm not athletic, I'm not capable, I'm uncoordinated, I'm too whatever. That's just a bullshit story you've clung on to for a long, long time to help describe your identity. The cool thing is you can let go of that story right now if you so choose. And the moment you do, I promise you, everything you've desired, everyone you've desired to be like, everything that you thought possible that should be possible for you will actually come to pass if you just simply allow it. But you have to do that. No matter what, no matter who, no matter how, until you decide that you want more for yourself, until you decide to let go of that and start using different words to describe you and start actually talking about you like you love who you are. Because it's really down, when it comes down to it, I think a lot of us actually lack love for our own selves. For whatever reason, whatever bullshit someone told us when we were younger, we believe we're not worthy enough. We believe we're not good enough. We believe we're not whatever enough to become the person we want to be. And we let that story basically dictate who we are up to this point. I'm here to tell you, man, that you are an absolutely wonderful, lovely fucking human being. Earn that shit. Own that shit. Live that shit. Fuck what anybody else has told you before. You are capable of so much fucking greatness. Go get it because it's there for you. All you have to do is just simply decide, I want it. I am no longer that old bullshit that I was telling myself. I am now capable of anything and I'm going to put in the fucking work. And you know what? When you try the first time and it doesn't go the way that you thought it should, don't get down on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Don't repeat the bullshit words that you used to say about, I'm not blank. Just stop and just say, cool. Step one down. Next one, next one, and next one. Because you know what? Every time you just make an attempt, every time you take a step forward and you do, you get a little bit closer to now being able to just, cross over that threshold and becoming that person that you wanted to be. you'd be amazed at how quickly it changes when you just simply accept it and allow it to fucking go work for you. So I'm excited, guys, because this is really something that I think every single person in the world needs to hear, and every single person can absolutely benefit from, is realizing that you don't have to buy into that bullshit that you've been telling yourself for the rest of for all of your life. You can actually choose right now, this moment, today, to become the new you and just simply start owning it. And no, it may not be super simple and easy. It may be that you have to work a little bit harder, right, to get it. Hell, you might have to work harder than all the people around you. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Do the damn work. I promise you, it's worth everything when you do. All right, guys. I love y'all. I want to see the best for y'all, and I hope you guys really take ownership of that and go make it happen. If you have questions, man, about anything, whether it be fitness, nutrition, anything else for that matter, you want to talk bullshit, whatever, just hit me up. Let me know. Like, I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you and figuring out what we can do here at Lion Strong to be able to help you become who you were absolutely designed to be. Love you guys. Peace out. I'll see you on the next one.